AJ, great to catch up with you again. And on the heels of a dramatic, hard fought BYU basketball win in that rivalry dynamic against Utah, I know you were busy in and of yourself with your own basketball games, but I do want to get your take on just your perception of that rivalry of BYU and Utah. What are you seeing when those two teams collide?
I mean, we seen it the first game when they played at Utah. I mean, we lost, but it was just packed with energy and fans. And then when we played at Marriott, it's the same thing. So I can't wait to play in that rivalry game. Hopefully we can win two next year.
Your future teammates, especially in the second half, go for 51 points, another second half outburst. There's something special happening in the locker room at halftime. From your perspective, what does a halftime speech and those adjustments mean to a team and how you attack the second half?
I mean, usually, if the game plan is working on their end, they tend to do the same thing. So you can exploit it by, having a good halftime speech. But I actually think The Rock just helps because teams start missing and then we start making shots.
You lived it. You were there for the West Virginia experience. And what is that? I mean, you've played in front of some good crowds, but as far as like college environments and BYU's environment, what makes that one special and unique?
I mean, it's just because when I had a student section, it was like towards the side, like the side bleachers, but the Rock is directly behind the backboard, and you actually see everything they're saying. You hear everything they're saying. You see all the posters and stuff. So it's hard to not look at. It's hard to not get distracted by.
No question. Your buddy Richie Saunders said that there was a venom in the gym in the Marriott Center for the BYU-Utah game. And emotions sometimes are hard to handle. It was senior night. BYU was clearly juiced to come out. Took a little while for them to get going. So when you are in a game like that, when it is heated and there's a rivalry component, how do you manage the emotions?
I mean, just play to win. I mean, it's a game at the end of the day. Obviously, you're trying to win it. It's a high intensity game. It's a high energy game, but just you want to win at the end of the day. So do all the intangibles to win, and you should stay calm.
There were a lot of big time plays in the game, especially in the second half. As I mentioned, BYU going for 51. There's Yegor Demin's behind the back dribble to find Mawit Mag for an open three. Dallin Hall hits a huge 30-foot three-pointer right before halftime. Big blocks by Keba and Trey Stewart. What was your favorite moment from the rivalry win?
I think the Trey Stewart block. Yeah, we didn't know he can get up like that, so I'll say the Trey Stewart block.
I do want to go back to the Yegor Demin behind the back dribble. I loved his response when I asked him about it. He said, I did good. I was almost surprised that I got through the defense, but then I found Mo and he's shooting that three. And Yegor said he's running back because he already expects him to make it. When you're the shooter, when you are receiving the pass after a big time play like that, do you feel more pressure like, oh man, that was incredible. I have to make this shot?
I mean, yeah, you do feel it because like the crowd already did the oohs and ahs. You're like, bro, I gotta make it, but there's so much energy, like you're not even conscious of thinking, so you just shoot it with like supreme confidence. You just end up making it.
What's that like, especially in a one-on-one scenario when, let's say, you put a good move on a guy and he falls down and the crowd goes, oh, and you step back. What's that like as a player when you pull that off?
I think it's actually harder when you're the one shooting it because you have more time to shoot. Like the more time you have to shoot, it actually like becomes harder. So like if you break a guy's ankles and you step back and you have all the time in the world, you start thinking about, okay, I have to do this and this instead of like if it's a catch and shoot, you just go up into your shot.
Yeah, I agree. And when you knock it down, like all respect, tip of the cap, because as you mentioned, there is some pressure in that. BYU has now won 8 straight games. Hard to imagine. At one time, they were 6-6 in Big 12 play. They just gotten blown out on the road at Cincinnati, but they start this streak at West Virginia and cap it by beating Utah. What's been your favorite moment within the 8-game win streak in BYU's recent rise?
Um, I mean, I just have to say the West Virginia game since I was in attendance, just the whole game, but mainly like just the second half, like just seeing the run. I actually seen the West Virginia players' faces and how frustrated they were because we was over there talking trash in the student section. So, I mean, I know I was there, so I have to say the West Virginia game.
Love that. AJ Dybantsa is with us on BYU Sports Nation. I want to rewind to BYU's double overtime win at Iowa State. Incredible. Cougs are up 21. That
Yeah.
lead dissipates. You go into not one, but two overtimes, and they find a way. Why do you think BYU was able to do something that so few teams can do and win at Hilton Coliseum against Iowa State?
Just determination. I mean, obviously KY probably had a few pointers to them, and when KY speaks, they listen. So I mean, that's a tough gym to play in. So I think you just have to be super locked in, super focused, and just determined to go out there and do it. Obviously, you're up 21, so like you don't want to get too compromised and like start like playing down. But I mean, they're a tough team to play against. They were top 3 in the Big 12 at that time. So I mean, they were gonna fight back, but we stayed calm.
There were so many winning moments in that game. And I know you're a man who can appreciate a good chase down block. So what was your perspective of Keba's play to
Yeah.
run the length of the floor and do that?
Yeah, I was watching the game live, and like we turned it over, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And he's not in the frame when he's going up for the layup, and then he goes up for the layup. He comes out of nowhere and just blocks it, and I started jumping up and down on the floor.
One of the greatest defensive plays in BYU basketball history, no doubt about it. As mentioned, BYU's won 8 straight, 14-6. They finished tied for third. They're the 4 seed going into Kansas City. What makes tournament play, because you do a lot of it, different than just the regular season?
I mean pressure. I mean you're playing in a mutual site now, so it's not like home court advantage. So I mean it's kind of even now. Like you're not used to the rims. You might have 50-50 fans on both sides. So, I mean, you really just gotta. It's really you against the world, or you against the other team.
Yeah. What's the key for BYU if, and I know some things have to happen, they have a rematch with Iowa State on that neutral floor? Because you have to imagine the Cyclones are going to be extra motivated to try and take down a team that just won at their home court. So what's your approach mentally as a player on the BYU side?
I mean, go the same approach that we got up. Was it 21? The same approach that we used to get up 21. Do the same thing, but instead of crumbling apart, just continue that streak, and then we should be winning by 10, 15 plus.
BYU jumped into the national rankings a few weeks ago at number 25, then jumped 2 spots. Now they're number 17 this week. What do you feel like is the ceiling for this BYU team, and how much do rankings in the AP poll even matter at this time of year?
No, it goes 50-50. I mean, rankings don't really matter like as a whole, but for seeding to get in the tournament, I wouldn't say it matters because you're gonna play tough. Every game's a tough game, but there's higher percentages of winnable games when you're in the higher rankings. So, I mean, you definitely want to up the rankings so you play against a quote unquote lesser team, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because teams are gonna play hard. It's the tournament. They make runs.
It feels like BYU's finally getting some of their due credit. We talked about the number 17 national ranking. They're a 4 seed in the Big 12 tournament with the double bye. Joe Lunardi of ESPN Bracketology moved BYU up to a 5 seed projected in the NCAA tournament. How do you feel about that being as a is that a fair seed in your perception of what this BYU team is right now?
Yeah, so I mean, for 17th in the country, I think that's pretty fair. I mean, you can't be a 1, 2, or 3, depending like what we've seen what 1, 2, and 3 are doing. Like they've only lost in 1 game in conference play. So I mean, obviously we're not there yet, but I think 5's pretty fair, and I think we can go far with 5.
AJ, when you are a player and you don't exactly know who you're going to match up with, for BYU, it'll be either Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, or Iowa State. If you were on this BYU team, who would you want to play? Because the last game BYU lost was against Cincinnati, but then again, the Iowa State team is so good, maybe that gets you a little bit more ready in the juice of the tournament. So which side are you choosing there?
No, I think for me, if I get blown out by Cincinnati, I'm gonna want my rematch against Cincinnati. So that would be my pick. But I mean, I'm gonna get up for every one of those games, any one of those 3 games. But I think as a rematch standpoint, revenge standpoint, I would want Cincinnati.
When you watch BYU play, what do you feel like they're doing best schematically on the floor right now?
Adjustments. I mean, because some teams want to take away their 3 because we have Trevor Nell, we have Richie Saunders, we have Dallin Hall that are hitting 3s at a high rate, and they adjust it, and we get to the rim, and now we're getting fouls, and now we're in the bonus and double burners early.
And I'm watching BYU make those adjustments, but I am also noticing their consistent defensive play? BYU missed their first 13 3-pointers against Utah, and it was still a one-possession game. So what is BYU doing defensively that is working so well?
I mean, we have versatile defenders. I mean, we have Marriott 94 feet. We have Trey 94 feet, and then we also have rotation guys, and then we have Keba who's just doing Keba things, chase down blocks and blocks in the half court. So I mean, we have versatile defense. Which is hard to stop or hard to score on.
Which player on BYU squad right now would you least like to have defending you?
Oh, yeah. I'm not trying to go against that 94 feet.
What is it about that that's so frustrating?
He's stronger than you. He's quicker than you laterally, and his arms are long, so he's poking at the ball. And you only have 8 or 10 seconds to get across half court. So, and then even when you're off the ball, like he's poking at you, like it's too much. So,
I always appreciate your honesty and how forthright you are. AJ Dybantsa is on BYU Sports Nation. Okay, let's get to your upcoming games and tournament on Saturday, 8:30 p.m. If people want to watch you, they can go to Highland High School in the Salt Lake City area and watch you take on the Fort, a team out of Canada. Obviously, you're playing with Utah Prep. So what are you looking forward to most about your next tournament?
that'll be that's the first round of playoffs. So, I mean, obviously, this is our chance to win our league championship. So we have to win these 2 games to make it to the semis and the finals. So, I mean, it'll be good if we can have a mini rock at Highland High School. So
Let's go. The mini rock. Let's get the mini rock to Highland High School. We're calling them out. BYU fans, make it happen. Saturday night, 8:30, Highland High School. And correct me if I'm wrong, if you win that game, you play Sunday at 4:15 as well, correct?
yeah, Sunday at 4:15.
Okay. Well, as you get ready for your own tournament, how do you feel like your team is playing right now?
Utah Prep.
Yeah.
I mean, we're playing good. We lost our last game, but we learned a lot. We do film. We're gonna practice tomorrow. I mean, we're just gaining more chemistry, and this is our chance to win a league championship, the first one in school history. So we're trying to make history.
Okay. And back to you individually. What do you feel like you are doing best in your own individual development as a basketball player at this time?
I'm just trying to get my leadership skills on point. I mean, with losing games, teammates start to get down on themselves. So trying to be a leader and trying to lift everybody up.
That's a great point you bring up. What are you innately? Because I think people want to know, like, are you super vocal on the court? Are you in the faces of your teammates? Are you more of a quiet competitor when it comes to it? How do you approach the game?
No, it depends. It depends. I think you have to, learn your teammates, because some teammates take different type of on the floor coaching. So I mean, sometimes I have to yell to get the point across. And sometimes I can just, hey, like to the side. But like naturally, like if I was to just go on the court with nobody I know, I'll be vocal like on the court, and I talk a lot like on defense and stuff. But like I wouldn't go back and forth with somebody. Like I would like be like a silent competitor. But when I learn people, like I tend to be more vocal, because you need to talk on a basketball court and for like chemistry and stuff like that.
Outstanding. Okay, we'll finish with some fan submitted questions on social media, AJ. Beginning with this, what's the best in-game snack that helps you if you're feeling a little bit tired or you need a little bit of energy at halftime?
Oh, I don't really eat snacks during the game, but I would say Gushers.
You're a Gushers guy.
Yeah, if I ever needed a snack, I usually don't. I'm usually good with like electrolytes and water.
Okay, fair enough. And then secondly, when you are on a breakaway, what's going through your mind before you pull off a dunk? Because we've seen you do some crazy in-game dunks.
It depends on the score. But usually, like actually, if you really watch my games, usually it's like just a 2-hand, like just dunk. But if there's Mastros, like my coach put Mastros in the back of my head, then I know I have to make the under the both legs dunk. If I'm going towards the side of the rock and we're up a decent amount, I might have to pull out in between the legs. But it just depends on the situation. I don't decide what dunk I'm doing until I get to like the free throw line or the 3-point line.
Really? It's that fast? Like you wait until the last moment?
Yeah.
That is very impressive. Okay. And finally, as I look at my notes here, what do BYU? Okay. Let's see. The question here is, okay, yes. So what should BYU fans be most excited about for watching AJ Dybantsa?
Excitement, but I mean, I try to play the game the right way, but trying to give the fans a show at the same time. So I mean, I'm playing to win, so I'm gonna be doing winning plays. I might not look as pretty, but when I do get the opportunity, you might see a couple oohs and ahs because I'm naturally like an exciting player to watch.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, the macros are good, the electrolytes are good, and we can't wait to see what you pull off when you get to the free throw line. You make that dunk decision. AJ, best of luck to you this weekend at Highland High School and your playoffs. And naturally, this is your opportunity as we say goodbye to send a message to your teammates or your future teammates as they go to Kansas City. What's the word for your guys as they get ready for the Big 12 tournament?
Intensity. Kansas City's not close to Utah, so we might not have a lot of fans there. So just bring the intensity, and we should be good.
Stack those days, stack those wins. AJ, great to talk to you, man. We'll see you at Highland High School. Good luck.
Thank you.